All right, nice and quick, streamlined, no tangents.
Super quick. Noah, we're going to do this one really quick. And
In and out
we're not
in
going to get
15
distracted.
minutes.
In and out, not getting distracted. We're not going to expand on anything longer than it needs to be expanded upon. Brevity.
We're not going to have any theological debates.
Brevity and conciseness and saying things in a shorter amount of time than they need to be said.
You know, that actually reminds me.
The soul of wit.
William Shakespeare, yeah, brevity is the soul of wit. And really, I think we should talk about the Shakespearean moments within Saga. So if you turn to Macbeth, Act 4, Scene 3.
Already there.
Now I need to actually look up Macbeth Act 4, Scene 3 and see what happens.
This is, I'm going to make an exception for this. This is actually important that you do this. But while you do that, I just want to reiterate, we can't go over the same stuff over and over. We got to be concise. We got in and out. We got to be quick about it.
We haven't even done the intro, so this is literally just us riffing for ourselves, right?
Until I add it. Hey, guys, and otherwise, this is Jonathan O. Roselion.
And I'm Noah, also known as Polyphonic, and you're listening to Horns and Wings, the podcast where we talk about Saga one issue at a time.
Nice, and we're talking about issue 21, right?
21, yeah.
We can get drink in.
yeah, the issue that can legally drink in your backwards country.
And you know what? Much like a scene in this very issue, this episode is going to be a lot like great sex while being worlds apart, which is why I am naked. Hey, let's do this one.
Hey, me too.
The upsetting thing is that I believe you.
The upsetting thing is that I'm not lying.
Noah, what's on the front of this issue?
This issue is phenomenal. It is Dango, very stylized in black and white.
Yeah.
And he's got a skull on his television screen, and he is mopping the floor with what seems to be blood.
I think this might be the most stylized cover we've gotten. Right?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's that very brushstroke style for the blood.
And it really just speaks to like we've talked about before, Fiona Staples' ability to do horror. Like, this is such a beautiful horror cover, and just the creepy skeletal grin on his face.
Yeah. Also, I like that it seems like the blood is coming from the mop.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I'm sure you can't see this on the omnibus one, but the title of it is the saga is in black, so it's like a black on a sort
Dark
of
gray,
a deep gray, which is like sort of eye-catching, the opposite of eye-catching 101.
Yeah.
But still, it draws even more attention to the red, so I think it works even better. But yeah, this is such a good one. And
then what's our opening splash?
Opening splash. You know what? Let's just get into it, because I feel like the opening splash is there's not much to dwell on. It's another great.
Yeah, that's true.
It's another great. What do you call that when you go into a scene in the middle of it? The French shit.
No, wait.
No, not mise en scène. It's in media res. There we go.
That's the one. It's also a great fourth wall break.
Yeah, no, it is Alana looking right at us eating cereal, specifically Cactos, which, you know what, I just now remember, as I said that was a cereal in the Will's ship that was like...
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
That was the one he was eating, the Fruit Loops. And she says, yeah, fuck it, I quit, directly to us. Oh, and she's wearing like a sexy black nightgown version of her usual outfit.
With a mask.
Yeah, with the black mask. And we turn the page and we see that we are on the set of the open circuit, and she's talking to Yuma, not us. And Yuma is literally painting the set to life. We're in a kitchen, and she's taking, it's almost like it's like she's painting on, what would you say, like a digital like wireframe.
Yeah, it almost looks like a really big tablet.
Yeah, no, this is she's painting on her massive Surface Pro, and but she has just like a paintbrush that she's painting onto this digital, and it's just a literal set that's appearing. It's very cool. And so she says that this is hardly the most degrading get up the producers have stuffed you in. But Alana is expressing disdain for having to do product placement. And Yuma has a great line, "The circuit is show business, not show charity." They continue to debate the validity of pushing this, quote, toxic waste that I'd never let my own daughter touch. And then the Spartan soldier lady who we saw, I believe, last issue, is also in a sort of, what do you call that, a bustier? Is that a word?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And it is the visual comedy of this is just hilarious.
It is. Yeah, no, this is such a fucking Mad Libs of a situation right now. And so she comes in saying, I need concert tickets for tonight. Hook a sister up to Yuma. And Yuma explains that Alana's cool, that she could ask for drugs in front of her, and we find out that the Trojan helmet lady is getting high during their scene, and she's doing it specifically because it's a product placement dumb scene. This is where Alana decides, hey, let's try this out. She's going to get high too during the scene. She says, God, this is the first scene of every boring cautionary tale ever. And Yuma points out, don't believe everything you learned in school. Most jobs are impossible to do without drugs. And then this is a very important voiceover that I kind of want to dive into immediately, because it's a slight, it's not unrelated to the rest of the scene, but Hazel's voiceover says, Mom never talked about this stage of her life much. And I'm going to say that is the first time, like, in terms of wording, because the wording's always very specific about the living state of Alana. I'm going to say that this is the first time that it seems grammatically likely that whenever this is being written, Alana is either dead or like very estranged from her daughter, at least, like not in her life anymore. For her to say, my mom never talked about this stage of her life, instead of my mom never talks about this stage of her life
That's
much.
true. That is interesting.
Because it's always been very, very specific and very like intentional how it's worded. But I've been paying very close attention to it, but this sincerely seems like whenever this is being written, Alana is no longer with us, which I don't want to think about.
I'd rather that wasn't the case.
Yeah, but this seems kind of, because before it's like, mom never came back here, but I did with grandma and stuff, and it's there's always been room for doubt. And also, I don't especially put it like that whole the idea of her being estranged from Hazel seems the exact type of heartbreaking that Brian K. Vaughan would do, especially looking at the endings of his other long-running series. Like, I totally buy that being a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. That's just worth pointing out, I guess.
I also think just again, this whole open circuit gives us such a like fun metatextual peek into artistry and talking about sponsorships. And again, just like being a YouTuber now reading this just relates to me. I relate so hard to this.
Yeah, especially, man, I like how Yuma is by far the most artistic character, like straight up, she's a straight up artist. Yeah. And she is the most sort of cynical about art that we've seen at all. And her line struck me so much that the circuit is show business, not show charity. Yeah. And it's she's very there's a lot of disillusionment happening here when it comes to art, which again was the thing that was sort of hyped up as the answer to everything.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's about it for this scene.
I believe so. Oh, one other thing is that she says that you're paying $3,600 a month to park your, she implies, rocket ship wherever they're parked, and there's no dollar sign or anything. It's just the number 3,600.
Yep.
And I like that as like, you don't need to know or care, and I'm not.
Yeah, it doesn't need to say credits or dollars or galactic currency.
Yeah, it just makes sense and you get it.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
All right, so we get that trademarked THN, and it goes to, she'd just say that kids don't need to know everything about their parents, but sooner or later we all find out anyways. And we get this amazing panel, a close-up on, like, chubby baby Hazel's face saying smash, and then we pull out, and she's riding Friendo around, chasing what looks like Ginny's daughter, and who we learn is named Eka, actually, in the next panel. And we just get this kind of nice little conversation between Marko and Ginny, just talking about Friendo, how they got Friendo, and just kind of talking about being a parent and what Alana does and stuff like that. And Marko almost says Alana, but then corrects himself to Alexis, saying that she doesn't really talk shop. And then Ginny says, sounds like Henry. A healthy marriage needs a few secrets, right? And puts her leg on Marko's thigh. Not high on his thigh. Let's just
hand, not her leg.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
We forgot to mention that Noah is an alien.
The humans have top legs and bottom legs, right?
Yeah.
Puts her hand on Marko's thigh. And then is interrupted by a call of Mom. I think Hazel had a big accident, and Hazel is covered in piss, and says, I had a big accident. Ginny says that she's gonna go get Hazel changed, but Marko says, no, like, grabs Hazel, says, we were about to head home anyways, I'll get her cleaned up. And then Ginny says, but we'll still see you tomorrow for dance class, and then smiles and says, tomorrow then. And we get some Hazel narration that says, from the moment it's formed, a family is almost always under attack.
Yeah. Which is, that's exactly how I see this bullshit.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, though, because I think that almost seems to frame Ginny as, like, a, like, bad, negative force. But I think textually, Ginny comes off just really sympathetic.
Well, here's the thing: is I'm sincerely torn on this, and actually, we got an interesting comment on our last episode, in reference to whether or not Marko was flirting and what was happening in that scene. Odd Amy, frequent commenter. Says,
yeah. Hi, Amy.
Says, I'm with John. I don't think Marko was flirting. He's just sincere. Being funny and being yourself does not mean you're flirting. Take it from someone who is hilarious all the time and romantic never. He probably shouldn't have danced, though, which is very valid. And yeah, I do think, like, that's why I love that line of being under attack so much, is because I feel like he is the least inclined person to cheat on someone ever. But also between what's going on with Alana and how just sort of sympathetic Ginny is, and all the stress of raising a kid and everything. This is like textbook life trying as hard as it can to push you to do something that you know you should not do.
I think, though, I'm going to push back on the flirting thing, because I think being yourself and affable and friendly isn't necessarily flirting, but when someone is overtly flirting to you and you respond in that way, you're flirting back. whether you want to be or not.
I'm going to push back on that because I feel like, just especially from maybe a female perspective, I can't tell you how many Haley works in a coffee shop, and there's a lot of times I'll sit and hang out in the coffee shop to work because I get free coffee, and there are multiple times where like a guy will flirt with her and she'll say something nice back, but like there are a lot of people who are just like, I want to say something nice to you to make you, to both shut you down but not sort of offend you or upset you in any way, because it can be scary to be in that situation.
But there's saying nice things back, and then there's like it's not like Marko was like, oh no thank you, I won't dance with you. Marko was like like Marko is being playful back. He's not specifically just being nice. Right?
I'd say that he's sort of giving, and again, this is as a socially awkward person, I feel like it is hyper relatable. If someone is like, hey, you want to do this thing, I feel like I have to at least come up with a charming and way to say no without making them hate me. And I feel like
I think I just find it really troubling that the narrative context that we're discussing this, and it seems like the story is trying to kind of push us in this direction too. Maybe this is something I'll criticize Brian K. Vaughan for, is, oh, what a poor man. He's being assaulted by this homewrecker trying to break his family apart. It's like, Marko has fucking agency in this. Like, Marko is not just this poor innocent guy. Marko has killed children. Like, he knows the way the world works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I really just have a lot of trouble with, I feel like a lot of the time, narratives around a woman having affairs are, oh, look at this homewrecker. Mm. And I really just don't buy that trope.
Yeah, no. I here's the thing. I think that's not especially happening here. I think what a lot of this is for me is the most moral character we have being challenged morally in a very nuanced and gradual sense, because here she specifically says, in reference to her marriage, a healthy marriage needs a few secrets, right? And also, but when he's on the road, we trust each other to live our lives. And she touches his knee, and that's a very, because there are people with open relationships and stuff, and that's also not necessarily morally wrong if they're doing it in a healthy way. And so it's one of those things where it's just like, I think that specifically, and she's not, it seems more like here's me subtly letting you know sort of thing, and not at all like here's like I've trapped you or anything. And I think that there's a lot of, I think that it's, if anything, Brian K. Vaughan is going further out of his way than most, because he's clearly aiming for a challenging Marko's sort of devotion to his wife here, or loyalty to his wife. But I think that he's gone out of his way more than most things do to make this character, to make it as understandable as possible if he does that, and not ill-intentioned.
I think that that's true, and I'm fine with reading the under attack as situationally under attack, but I just want to be really kind of cognizant going forward of I do not buy the narrative, and I don't want the narrative to be framed as, oh, poor Marko, he's just trying to do his best and this homewrecker is trying to break up his family.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is what you were saying, but I definitely think that that's an avenue of dialogue that this arc does open itself up to, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's the same with what's happening with Alana, or it seems like the path that she's going down right now is she's finding her release, or her vice with drugs, where it's like it is a personal choice. Like, well, she was actively not pressured into it, and she was whining about not being pressured into it. And it has been all personal choices for her. And I think that both of these storylines are very sort of symmetrical in that way, where it is I think that she's diving headfirst into it way more than Marko is.
It's very Walton Schuyler.
Yeah, oh, very much so. And I think that a lot of them is like, I think that's what makes them both interesting, is that neither of them they both have a lot of autonomy in their situations.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would definitely, I mean, if they're setting him up to potentially cheat on his wife, like, you can't make that, there's no way to make that sincerely sympathetic in like some sort of absolute way. And there's going to be autonomy there, short of him being sexually assaulted. That I think that, I think that he's doing a good job putting the temptation there.
Which also, it's very a little distinction to make. If someone is sexually assaulted, they are not cheating on a partner.
Yeah.
You can't cheat non-consensually.
Yeah, I think again, and this is, I love that we get into this stuff because this is such we're talking about
innocuous
a goofy
scene.
Sci-fi thing. It literally, we just watched a scene where a plant lady sells drugs to a Trojan soldier in a skimpy outfit, and we're talking about like the nuance of like adultery. And so I think that there's a lot of ways to sort of interpret Marko's headspace, and we'll never truly understand that because he's not our narrator. And I think that I think he has a sort of guilty expression throughout this whole scene, just about, which is very interesting because I think that sort of implies more than just about anything else as to where he is mentally. But yeah, I think if anything, going forward, it is that they're putting us in such a good emotional headspace of, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And I know what I don't want to happen, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And whatever will happen will probably, because right now where we're at, he could cheat on her or not cheat on her, and I would understand both of those, and they would both be believable, and that's a great place to be in terms of writing. But can we please talk about, Noah? Can we please talk about the comical perfection that is the opening panel here? Where Hazel has such a, almost like ordering an execution. Saying smash, commanding smash, and when we find out she's playing with another girl, and she is so confident in her command.
Love how tiny she is on Frendo's back.
This is, I love that they have already given her, because this is what, like 3 issues where she can talk. And they've already given her such a distinct personality, which is such a rarity for, she's what, 2 or 3?
And I think it's interesting because not only is it distinct, but it also falls completely in line with how you understand her through the narration. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, even from that first scene of her in the bouncy castle, like, we've just learned so much about her, and she is so thoroughly endearing, which is pretty important because she's the main character of this.
Yeah. All right, should we push forward? We're trying to be time efficient.
Cut to space, and we see a ship that looks like, what would you say, like a drill bit?
Yeah, kind of like a drill bit. That's what I was thinking.
And a reminder, the transitional narration was, from the moment it's formed, a family is almost always under attack. And then we get, the trick is figuring out which threats to deal with first. We cut to inside the ship. There's gunfire everywhere, dead bodies of robots and winged soldiers. A robot's yelling to another robot. He's got a hostage, a bloody baby. and we get someone calling. Well, they're calling back to command, whatever, saying that we're under attack from. The command says, we're not picking up any other ships in your flight path, and he says, God damn it, the enemy is on board. Cut back to the robots. One of them has a lion on its face roaring as he says, you colorless piece of shit. And then he gets blown in half. And the dust settles. There's limbs on the ground. We see boots walking up, and we get this gorgeous, amazing, amazing splash. It is Dango. He is holding
Dango Unchained, baby!
Please, I'm asking you, go to another room.
I did this time. I did.
Just outside of your apartment, if possible.
Next time I will go out onto the balcony.
And he is holding a spinal cord with a severed head still attached to it. And he's holding an automatic weapon. He has a bunch of grenades strapped to his belt, and then he has the baby prince sort of swaddled, strapped to his chest, and he has, for the prince to watch, it seems like a sort of puppet show.
Yeah,
like kids' cartoon playing on his screen. So the juxtaposition of this children's cartoon show on his screen and the viscera that's taking up the rest of the splash page is absolutely fantastic. And I just noticed he has one feather sitting on his shoulder from one of the winged soldiers. Yep. He's coming towards the last soldier, the winged soldier who is making the call. The winged soldier, in his desperation, says, the creator is in the hours and the minutes and the seconds. He shields us from all evil, and is holding up what I assume to be some sort of Bible type thing. Dango just tosses the spinal cord head and says, and then shoots the guy in the face, and then goes to the control panel of the ship and sets a new destination for Gardania. It says, we're almost there, to the little prince. And so that's our crazy fucking action sequence for the middle of this.
Yep, that's a jarring shift from what we've just seen.
There is such an energy to this whole sequence.
It's so cinematic. Like, to use a $10 word that we use a lot, but it's so tropey in the best way possible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like literally there is such a loudness to this scene in my head. Everything is read as yelling, as screaming. I'm just hearing all of the lasers flying and the chaos ensuing, and then that dust settling is so cool.
And it's really interesting because you get all of this chaos without any sound effects, and without the people aren't even their dialogue isn't even in caps. It's just regular with exclamation points, but you are so aware of how loud and chaotic it is, and you don't need a big boom sound when you see the explosion.
Yeah, and especially so two things I really want to point out here that is such interesting world building. One, it's so flawless, so great, is him, the robot, calling Dango a colorless piece of shit.
Yep.
Which says everything you need to know, especially in terms of color. It goes to show, it's one of the most believable things about this story is how everyone will figure out a way to be racist, no matter what species you are, no matter how identical you are to anyone else. They will always find a way to be racist, and that's such a brilliant touch. And also something that we have, as far as I know, we have not seen, and that was the creator with a capital C.
Yeah.
And
I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, and the book, it's just a black book with this white symbol on it that looks sort of like maybe the top of a diamond, like a cut diamond or something.
Yeah, or more abstractly, it could just be shapes.
Yeah, it has that sort of prismatic pattern to it.
Is it an octagon?
How many sides are
No,
there?
I think it's a decagon.
Yeah. But yeah, we are seeing, and then it is in reference to time. Is in the hours and the minutes and the seconds, shields us from all evil. So that is the first sort of purely religious thing we've seen. And especially, I would take a lot more meaning from this if it was a robot saying this. That would fill me with such joy in reference to the creator. But it's one of the wing soldiers that's doing this. So I find that very fascinating.
I also just love Dango's reaction to that. Throwing the skull of the dead comrade behind him.
Yeah. I love his amazing one-liners that are always so anticlimactic and non-one-linery, but so perfect.
And this is another example of just like how visceral the gore is in this scene is remarkable.
Yeah. And it serves such a good purpose with setting up the cartoon show happening on his face, and then also that striking again with colors. The baby is swaddled in this cloth that has just it's a pink cloth with a bunch of rubber ducks on it. It's so great. But yeah, we'll come back to this scene later towards the end of the podcast for a certain reason. Who knows why?
Should we keep going? Anything else on this scene other than it's fucking... Know what the energy of this scene is? This is last scene in Rogue One energy.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
No, we'll come back to this for a future segment in this episode, but I'm good now.
All right. So then we get an establishing shot. We're outside of the rocket ship tree. We cut inside, and Clara is sitting in the bath reading a Nighttime Smoke. Oh, wait, no, not a Nighttime Smoke. Reading another D. Oswald Heist book.
It is called, hold on, Sand Trapped, and there's an hourglass and a rose on it.
Yes. And she's reading Sand Trapped and talking to Isabel about how his books are really bad, but she's reading them because she loved him, and that's the way to honor him. And then Alana comes in, says, cheer up, guess who got a fat-ass 4% raise today? To which Isabel says, this is one of my favorite Isabel lines ever. Me? Oh no, that's right. I'm an indentured servant.
Her face during that, too, of just such feigned... I don't know how you do feigned excitement in as a drawing, but that's it.
It's so good. And then Clara says congratulations and says to tell Marko to tell your house husband to buy better toilet paper. She says it's worse than the glorified bark we had to use on the front lines. And then Alana responds, yeah, the trenches always look so beautiful in the snow. And her eyes are kind of going different direction and very bloodshot. And she kind of hobbles through the hallways to her bedroom, looking for Marko. And from the shadows, Marko grabs her and says, fuck, I need you right now, and starts kissing her. We get a splash page. Marko is buck-ass naked. And Alana says, yes, sir, and starts to take her clothes off. And then they have sex as we get a voiceover here. Hazel says, I'm going to read this whole voiceover because I think it's really important. Long before I was old enough for the talk, Mom told me about sex. She said she'd had lots of it in her life, but that married sex was probably her favorite. Still, Mom also warned me not to expect fireworks like the ones in Mr. Heist's romance novels every time. Some nights, even two old friends deciding to get as close as humanly possible could still be worlds apart.
Way to bring down the fucking mood, Hazel. Jesus. Just let us watch your parents have sex.
Yeah, just voice over good narration as we're watching your parents fuck.
Okay, well, we have the tradition of naming the sex in this. What's a name for foreboding sex? Foreskin boating. No, I'm gonna
no. No. Let me find some synonyms for foreboding.
Wait. No. I got it. Don't worry. I got it.
Oh, yeah?
Foreboning.
Yeah, they are foreboding.
Oh, boy. Also, holy shit. Again, this is the first time we've really seen at least this bathroom. And the bathtub is in a hollowed out log with a twisting branch as the spigot, and the walls are grass, and I just want to just run my hands across every surface of this goddamn rocket ship.
I also really wanted to mention, I love the establishing shot that tells you you're at the rocket ship tree. It's like a really kind of tight angle on the rocket ship tree with the sky in the background. Mm-hmm. And it's just, we've talked about this a bit with planets, and now you're seeing it with the tree too. Fiona Staples always has really kind of creative ways of composing these establishing shots, right?
Yeah.
So that it's not the same boring shot of the rocket ship tree over and over again, even though I'd never get bored looking at the rocket ship tree.
I'm starting to wonder, because those clouds,
yeah,
I think those aren't clouds. I think
you think they're debris?
I think that's the belt, because in the previous shot we see that belt, and that is how the moon looks to us. Is that sort of?
Yeah, you are completely right. Those are definitely asteroid rocks floating around.
That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back to all the other shots of Gardania and look for that.
Yeah, I think this is a scene that really, in a lot of ways, speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And I think it's a brilliant example of a sex scene done right.
Yeah.
Done not just for the sex, but to drive the narrative and drive the characters forward, right?
Yeah, and fucking also, again, my boy, shout out to Marko for being oh, I'm horny now. I'm going to go have sex with my wife. And thank you.
Yep. Oh, I thought you were just going to be shout out to Marko for looking like he does.
Badass, though. I love how they know exactly what we want splash pages of. It is Dango holding a fucking wing person's spinal cord and dead ass. And that is
you could bounce a fucking quarter off that ass.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything?
I think the other thing that's worth noticing is in one of the panels of the sex scene that Alana's eyes are still visibly bloodshot.
Yeah. But also it's important to also point out that it's we have again the candles where the candles themselves are.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that Marko, because those are not a part of the ship, I'd like to think that Marko lit some candles because he's the most romantic motherfucker,
or at least told the ship to light some candles. Also, little detail, I didn't realize this the first couple times I read it, there's Marko's bandage wrappings are sitting on the bed,
and he's staring at them with it's very small, but I'm assuming it paired with the voiceover could still be worlds apart. He's definitely thinking of his whole situation right now. But also then there's something very important here that we need to do, and that is I need to do a dramatic reading of this excerpt from real quick. So
I forgot about that.
Dim the lights at home, everyone. Light your luminescent candles. I guess all candles are inherently luminescent, but go ahead and do what you need to get in that right headspace for some art, some theater.
Put on some Marvin Gaye.
Please put on some Marvin Gaye, but then mute it immediately to enjoy as much of this as possible. Ahem. Wait, what's a good... I'm going to do my most poetic voice possible. She looked at her brother's bloody teeth and finally accepted the truth. The only true revenge is forgiveness.
I like that you think that a sexy voice is
I wasn't doing sexy. I was going full. This is Shakespeare, my friend.
Okay, I like that your Shakespeare voice is Lord Voldemort.
I could go a little more. Harry, she looked at her brother's bloody teeth.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Hey, that's a scene. Another one done.
Another one in the bag.
It's my
Here we
turn,
go.
isn't it? I fucking love this.
Yeah, and I think you'll take us through to the end
Yeah,
here.
this is it. We're moving. So we get a gorgeous, idyllic establishing shot here of it. It seems like...
Yeah, can I be here?
Yeah, for real. It seems like a sort of British countryside on a beach, and we have a nice little cottage surrounded by flowers. And in the sky, we see a massive Saturn-like ringed planet. And there's Prince Robot and his family playing on the beach. They're wearing very much sort of turn of the century British beach garb.
It looks like Saga does Pride and Prejudice.
Exactly. He's got the sexy open. Why is this? Hold on. Why is this the sexiest? What's it saying about me? That just that slight open collar.
That a popped collar with buttons, with way too many buttons undone is what you think is sexy.
Turns out I'm one of those Pride and Prejudice basic bitches. Is that basic? I don't know. Anyway, he sees his family. There's Princess Robot there. There's their now a toddler child saying, "Mommy got me a new bathing costume." Him and Princess Robot have a bit of a back and forth about how that kid's not going to survive the schoolyard if he calls it a bathing costume. It's great. And she says, "If a fucking fop like you could survive the playground, so can that clever boy." And they reminisce about their second date and how he decided he wanted to put a baby in her that night, but the most he managed was his middle digit. And he says, "Just softening the ground for future invasion, and this is making me angry we did not get way more conversations between these two." So they're just having a nice day at the beach, and she says, "There's something I need to say." And as he says, "What is it, love?" an alarm bell goes off on his screen, and suddenly we get a shot of the lizard assistant, Mama Sun's lizard assistant, using, I believe, something we've seen before. I think it was used to...
Yeah, we saw the rat use it, didn't we?
The who?
The little, mouse hamster
exactly
thing that exploded into a pile of guts.
Yeah.
That little cute thing.
It is. So we know it's some kind of medical device. I'm guessing like adrenaline, because he stabs it into his neck and suddenly Prince Robot wakes up with a scream. And we see Mama Sun there with the three women that Prince Robot was with, and her little lizard friend dressed like Aladdin, pretty much.
Not even pretty much, dressed exactly like Aladdin.
The sash across the stomach. So she says it's sextillion policy to not interfere with guests, but my legal counsel here has advised me. They tell him that his wife has been killed. He says, "Sorry." And they point out that, "I'm afraid your people are still looking for the assassin. Thankfully, they have every reason to believe your son is alive." He says, "I have a son." And point out it's a male heir. He says, "When the hell was he born?" Mama Sun looks down, sort of ashamed, saying, 21 days ago. And we get a nice shot of Prince Robot just sort of cocking his head. And then we get one more splash page, which is, so we are on splash page number 5 this issue?
Yep.
Or 4.
And we know we still have one more coming because it always ends on a splash.
And it is Prince Robot just blasting a hole right through the center of Mama Sun with his blaster arm. And then everyone is screaming and looking on in shock. The lizard, he points the blaster at the lizard. Lizard says, "Don't, I have children. I'm begging you, father to father." And then Prince Robot realizes, father. He says, he'll know how to fix this, make everything right again. And then we get our final splash of Prince Robot's screen. It is of a human eye with a sewing needle through the pupil.
Oh.
And he says, "I have to see King Robot." Few words have brought me so much joy in my life. Few images have brought me such little joy in my life.
there's a lot to talk about in this scene.
Yeah.
I think we should go back to the English countryside and talk it through from there.
Yeah. So first of all, shout out to this is a color scheme we have not seen before in this book, and it's all muted pastels, and it is amazing how before seeing any other panels in this, it immediately evoked British countryside.
Yeah, and just like crisp nostalgia.
Yeah, for sure. Like that, it's sort of slightly sepia.
I think it's really, really kind of interesting now that this is the second, not even the second time, but the second character that is having kind of romantic flashbacks of a dead partner. I mean, he doesn't know she's dead yet.
Well, also, it can't be a flashback, too, because they have a kid.
Yeah, or I guess fantasies. Yeah, not so much like because and because the Will has also had several fantasies about his dead ex-lover.
Yeah. I'm sensing a consistency amongst their pursuers here.
Yep.
Maybe they'll find common ground. I'm saying things to throw people off now because I don't even remember if that's true. But yeah, no, I love how this is honestly such a like for my neutral milk hotel video I've been chipping away on.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because the famous cover of their In an Airplane Over the Sea is actually an altered form of a turn of the century British postcard, and this is exactly that, down to the striped, the red and white striped bathing costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I also just in this love how jarring the bright red and yellow of Prince Robot's screen when the alarm bell goes on.
It is brilliant.
I love the way that the alarm looks like an eye.
Yep, it looks like as if it's such a perfect image to take him out of a dream, that this alarm bell looks exactly like a wide open eye, and it is the most sort of cacophonous colors, and so different from everything else in this scene. Is so brilliant. But also, really quick, I do want to point out how cool it is, because there's such an attention to detail here. The fact that, if you remember when we saw that mobile hanging above the prince's crib, when it was born, and we were introduced to the robot kingdom, we saw that it was a dwarf planet circling a Saturn-like planet. And so we have that consistency. I
didn't even think of that. That's so true.
Such attention to detail. It's very cool.
I want to live in that cottage. That might actually go up to like possibly number 1 on my Saga places that I want to be.
Oof. Yeah, I'd say it's a solid 3 for me. I still love the lighthouse. I still love the rocket ship tree. But just like I want to hear that ocean. It is in that side of that plant. This does dethrone the beach office for me, for sure.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. And then because of how washed out the color palette is, when you cut to Sextillion, it is so jarring.
Yeah, because that is all very deep, sort of almost gem tones.
It's almost like it's the opposite, right? Instead of this bright washed out, you have these deep, heavy contrast stuff.
Yeah,
right?
And still no beyond. I guess no, even that red is very washed out on the bathing suit. Like there's virtually no primary colors here. It is all purples and orangish reds, and it's very effective.
And then the Again, just the way that Fiona Staples is able to make like 4 emote. Like if you look at him saying "I have a son," his head is in the same position as the tilt, but he's clearly has like a different thought in his head, and he's clearly emoting differently, right? And then go ahead.
I knew what this next page was when I saw that shot of him tilting his head, which is not threatening at all. It is for him, but like inherently it is not threatening. I knew, she's fucking dead. She's done.
Also, I literally just noticed this. Can we talk about how the lizard's tail falls off?
Yep, it pops off, which is a if for anyone that doesn't know, lizards, it is like built into their genes, because that if they're shocked or if they're in danger, their tails will fall off and then grow back again. I had no idea. Yeah, and that is a survival tactic that is like sort of if they get snatched by their tail, then their tail can just fall off. And so fun fact, I've read this issue probably before now, I'd say maybe 3 times, and then today was my 4th. And then with and then I always like skim through again to see if there's any background stuff I missed. Still didn't see it. And then when I was going through a 3rd time to figure out what my favorite moment was, then I noticed, first of all, because you see the tail on the floor in the
writhing around.
Page. Yeah. And I was like, wait a second, what's this? And then I noticed it. So it took me 7 times to notice. I
literally just noticed it just now as I was about to say something completely different about this panel.
Yeah, that's an amazing detail.
I just love the composition of this panel. It feels like a Renaissance painting, and it's just so like he's so calm and just terrifyingly calm and casual about just takes his arm cannon out and blows a hole through her chest. Like there's no rage, there's no you did this, there's no I'm gonna kill you. It's just bam.
Yeah.
Cold, calculated. And I have never been more terrified of Prince Robot as I am in this moment.
Yeah, especially like, and that is such a good sort of wake up call of like, oh yeah, the one thing that ties him to this earth at this point is that child now, and he is now like the child is taken hostage. And I cannot imagine what he is about to do to get that child back. So yeah, it's exciting stuff. And also, I love whatever the fuck. I sincerely have no idea what it says about their relationship, but I love whatever it implies about the relationship with his father. And I'm sure it's relatable for a lot of people that when thinking of his father, it's an eyeball with a needle through it, like one of the most excruciating, just to think about, to see whatever images imaginable.
It's so visceral and it's so fucking beautiful. Fiona Staples is incredible.
Yeah. It's a good scene. This is a good fucking issue.
All right. Do you have a favorite moment?
It's the Dango Splash. I want to point out how, again, the thing that Saga, I think, does possibly the best of all the things I love about Saga, the thing I'm most consistently appreciative of is the fact that this is such an absurd image, the baby on him, the children's show on his screen, and then everything else is so comically like it's straight out of a fucking Predator film.
Yeah.
And that juxtaposition there, it hits all those boxes of that makes a great Saga Splash for me, which is absurd, surprising, and makes perfect sense. 100% justified.
I also love that we didn't mention this. He's splattered in both blue and red blood.
Yeah, that's great.
To use those criterion, that would have been my favorite moment. Because I can't pick that, I will pick the robot murdering Mama-san page, and I would say that is also absurd.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like hilarious with the lizard popping his tail off, and it's also completely brutal, and it makes complete sense.
Yeah. And also, we didn't talk about Mama-san's been such a fucking heel this whole series.
Yeah.
Because this is the same person that went to such great lengths to keep the will from taking who we now know as Sophie. And yeah, so this is an earned death. This is not someone I will mourn or miss.
Well, and that's what I really love about it too, is that it's not this like heroic, tragic death that Mama-san goes out just like hunched over with pure shock in her eyes. It's such a satisfying like ugly death for an ugly character.
Yeah, yeah. What about song? Do you have a song in mind for this one?
I like, honestly, what comes in mind is whatever the music playing during the Vader scene in Rogue One is. That's what comes in mind.
I believe that is called the Imperial March.
Well, it's not actually, like, it's
Is
a
it?
specific, like, it's not exactly the Imperial March.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to I'm pumped to have that on the playlist. You know what? I was trying to come up with a song for the dream sequence of them on the beach.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, what's more idyllic than Dream a Little Dream? And then I was like, yeah, there are so many. I actually went on Spotify, started looking at like all the different versions. I was like, yeah, of course, Ella Fitzgerald is brilliant. I love the Louis Armstrong one. There's a great cover done for Boardwalk Empire, which is worth checking out. But then I saw that Eddie Vedder covered it. So,
on a ukulele?
on
or
ukulele.
was it on? Yeah.
we get a nice Eddie Vedder cover of Dream a Little Dream, and it was too close to being like me putting a sincerely great song on there. So I'm gonna go with the safer bet, the more me bet, which is Dream a Little Dream by Eddie Vedder. Go ahead and add that.
Okay. Once again, this playlist, just two very, very different vibes.
The first time in history ever anyone will ever listen to back to back the soundtrack of Vader just cutting down so many rebel soldiers and fucking Dream a Little Dream. We might actually be the first people to listen to Dream a Little Dream by Eddie Vedder, but definitely in that order.
Oh my god.
My favorite Eddie Vedder cover of all is this question theme.
My favorite Eddie Vedder cover of all is actually his cover of Hard Sun.
Well, that's what I just played. So
Oh, that's good to know.
Works
I'm
out.
glad I'm glad that we'll be demonetized and sued and
oh no, we won't make money from this. Did you have a question in mind?
I think I actually do. I think we get like a fleeting glimpse of literally just a book and one line of this religion.
Oh yeah,
What do you-
Trapped, right? Oh no. The other book.
Well, that would also be they're like Bible. What do you infer about the religion from that one line? Which I'll remind you now, so you don't need to go back and look.
Yeah.
The Creator is in the hours and the minutes and the seconds. He shields us from all evil. And it's like, it doesn't look like a very thick book. Like, it's a pretty thin book with like kind of a diamond or decagonal shape, prism shape on it. Yeah. What do you infer about the religion from that?
That also just. I also think it's very interesting that is a winged soldier who is following this religion, and that there is such a thinking about, like, because that invokes the precision of clocks for me, and also that cover, evokes a lot about the precision of maybe cutting a gem or that perfect symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is also the culture that is much more technologically advanced and not at all in tune with nature as the other culture. So I think there's already a lot of interesting things to go off of here.
And the that also, though, like, that led me to another question, which is, what do you think Sand Trapped is about?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's make those our two questions.
Yeah,
I like
infer everything you can about two books that you get two panels each on. Actually,
Yep. Should be good. All right, and that'll do it for us. If you want to answer one of those questions, or both of them, please go check out either the pinned tweet on the Twitter account or the pinned comment on the YouTube version of this. Also, really quick, apologies to anyone who watches the YouTube version. Usually we do animated panels, and you probably noticed that this episode does not have an animated panel that is looping throughout the video, and it's just a matter of our schedules are becoming crazier. Mine is definitely becoming more packed, and we've been getting a lot more people who are listening who have gone from the YouTube videos to just listening on the podcast app, which is totally understandable because that's how you do it as a human who wants to just listen to a non-visual thing. But we will still on occasion have animated panels, but those are going to be more special occasion-y. But yeah, go check out. I'm really happy. Last week we did the drug sequence. I did a quick animation for. And by quick, I mean it took a full day. But go check out that one because that one.
But here's the other thing that I'm gonna say, John.
Yes.
Wouldn't you just love to see that dingo panel animated?
Wouldn't you love to see me punching you in the goddamn face animated?
Actually, yeah, that'd be really cool.
I already draw those in my spare time, so.
What spare time?
That's true. Hey, Noah, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at you can find me on YouTube at Polyphonic. I just finished up my series of, well, the last one will be coming out this week, of 5 artists who defined the decade. It was fucking exhausting. It was a ton of fun to make, but they are some of the longest, most intense videos I've ever done. So if you want to hear me talk about Beyonce or Kendrick Lamar for 20 minutes, go check that out.
Ooh, I'm pumped for the Kendrick one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just finished it today. It's phenomenal.
Nice.
Also check me out on Instagram at WatchPolyphonic, and on Twitter at WatchPolyphonic. Closing in on 5,000 subscribers, so,
Yay.
Check it out.
Nice. Not called subscribers there, but sure.
Followers, it's all the same.
It's followers is much more appropriately cult-like. I'm gonna say, what do I want to boost? I don't know. Go check out what's a good old video of mine? Because Lord knows I don't have new ones to boost.
You've got this video about Saga.
They've seen that shit already. I'm gonna say
Spielberg one.
You know what? No. I'm gonna say fucking go watch my Jackie Orms video. That is disastrously underwatched. And it is by far like my favorite video I've done, and is gorgeous. Talk about if you like the color palette of that dream sequence here, a little more saturated, but very much those nice pastels throughout is the color palette for the Jackie Orms video. So go check that out. I'm pumped for you to see it because it's great. Hey, and also thank you to Fiona Staples, Brian K. Vaughan, Phonographics and Image Comics for giving us 5 of the best splash pages that have ever existed. Good on you. Noah, how do we want to end this one?
I actually want you to sign it off, but in your Lord Voldemort voice.
I'm going to go with my very poetic reading of this. Be I shitting? Disperse with ye. Bye.
Is this your D&D voices?
I can't. It would be if I could maintain that longer than 5 seconds. I'm wrecked now.